Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me.
White supremacy is a religion. Equality is a sin in their religion. Equality is a sin under the religion of white supremacy.
A lot of white people genuinely feel like equality is the oppression of white people. That means other people getting rights means that some of ours get taken away somehow, which obviously isn't true and shows the hyper-competitive nature of being white in America.
They must be. Racism cannot work unless all white people are racist. Racism is a group system of domination and monopolization of resources, privileges, and opportunities that are selfishly guarded by one group and used to disadvantage all members of another group. White people cannot opt out. You know why? If white people opted out, if all these white liberals opted out of the maintenance and perpetuation of the system of racism, racism would have fell apart by now. Racism would have fell apart by now. If you think white folks are opting out of racism, let me ask you one question. If you think white folks are opting out of racism, let me ask you a question. When slavery ended in 1865, black people owned 0.5% of all the wealth in America. When slavery ended in December of 1865 with the passage of the 13th Amendment, black people owned 0.5% of all the wealth in America. We are 157 years later. We are 157 years later. We still only own 0.5% of all the wealth in this country. If the pot of whites who believe in equality with blacks has grown, if the pot of whites who believe in equality with blacks have grown in these 157 years, if that is the case, the pot of whites who have grown in their belief in equality with blacks, it has expanded. We have more white people now than ever before who claim to believe in equality for blacks. If that is more than lip service, why do Africans still only own 0.5% of all the wealth in this country? It is impossible. I'm trying to get you to see. In order for racism to survive, all white people must participate. There are no opt-outs. In order for a team to win a football game, a basketball game, a baseball game, a hockey game, a volleyball game, everybody got to participate. You can't have a weak link. If it's a 5-on-5 basketball game and one person chooses not to shoot or play defense, you're going to lose. Football is what, 11 guys, 13 guys on each side? If one of them guys on either side of that team, if the wide receiver says, I'm not running no routes, if the defensive end says, I'm not going after the quarterback, guess what? The weak link will get targeted, and through the weak link, the team will lose. There are no weak links in the white race. The white liberal is just as racist as the white conservative. The white Democrat is just as racist as the white Republican. That's right. Racism is a group system. All whites participate. It's the only way they can guarantee domination of resources, opportunities, and rewards. So for my white fans who follow my work, I'm not saying you're a bigot. I'm saying you are a racist. It's still not a good thing to be a racist. It's still not a good thing to be a racist. Okay? But your racism is about the business of white domination. It's not necessarily about the business of black genocide. Not necessarily. But genocide is without question an extension of racism. But I would argue that genocide, to some degree, would more appropriately fall under bigotry. But I still think genocide is the prerogative of every white race as well, to an extent, because of the Africans' ability to repopulate every other race out of existence. So genocide has to be a concern. It has to be a concern. So I'm going to move on from this topic of all white people are racist. I'm going to have to revisit this over and over again because of the political indoctrination of black religion and white media. I'm going to have to review this over and over again because of the political indoctrination of white media and black religion. They have done a thorough job on the collective consciousness of black folks to the point that we don't understand racism at all, and we don't understand collective group interest because we have none. Negroes in America do not understand collective group interest because we have none. We would rather fight than forge a way forward for ourselves. We would rather fight one another than form a way forward for ourselves. And this is one of the reasons why the snow bunny crisis. This is one of the reasons why the snow bunny crisis is such a problem for us as African people, because that white wife of the black man is still a racist. In fact, at a certain level, you can see the snow bunny crisis as a covert strategy on behalf of white racism, where they send the white woman in as a double agent, an undercover operative, to steal and besiege and reclaim all of the wealth and income that the black man has and take it back to the white community. I'm going to say this again. At a military level, the snow bunny crisis is an attempt by the white power structure sending in white women to psychologically disarm these ridiculously politically uneducated black males in an attempt to steal, besiege, reclaim their wealth, assets, and income and take it back to the white community. Have you ever played Capture the Flag? Have you ever played Capture the Flag? When I was in high school, I belonged to a Boy Scout troop, Scotland School for Veterans Children. And we would go play Capture the Flag on the camping trips. And Capture the Flag was you had to go into the other people's territory, get their flag, and bring it back to your side. That's what the white woman is doing with the black man. She's playing not capture the flag. She's playing capture the bag. Not capture the flag. She's playing capture the bag. Instead of going to get the flag and bring it back to the black community, she's coming back with the bag. Retirement, insurance, wealth, assets, investments, income streams. That's what she's doing. She's psychologically disarming the black man with sex and emotion. And she's taking all his assets back to the black community. Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. The list goes on and on and on. Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the list, rest in peace. The list goes on and on and on. All these white women taking from the most financially elite black men in the country and taking it right back there to their community. The snow bunny crisis is nothing more than a political version of capture the flag. And instead of capturing the flag, these white women are sneaking into the black community and capturing the bag of financially elite black men. Let me go to 11 rules of white supremacy number 2. Rule number 2. And these are in no particular order. Rule number 2. White people don't share power with black folks. White people do not share power. And any white person watching this, you know I'm telling you the truth. And it's not just white people. No race shares power with another race. So I don't want to single out Caucasians unjustifiably here, but we're going to speak about them because our predicament is profoundly related to the European situation. White people don't share power with blacks. So whenever somebody tells you, whenever the government says, we're building a new neighborhood, we're going to transform North Philadelphia, we're going to transform Southeast DC, we're going to transform Detroit, we're going to transform Milwaukee, we're going to transform Oakland and Houston, we're going to transform Atlanta and Raleigh, we're going to transform Charleston, South Carolina. They're not transforming that so you can share. White people don't share. How are you going to have racism with power sharing? They can't coexist. Racism and power sharing cannot coexist, brothers and sisters. Power sharing predicates that there is equality between the groups who are sharing. Everything's lopsided in America. Ownership of banking, ownership of business, ownership of wealth, ownership of land, control of the schools, control of the economy, control of the prisons. Everything is imbalanced because racism needs to be imbalanced in order to stay in control of the what? Resources, opportunities, and privileges. Ain't no power sharing. Well, we're going to work together. The black community and the white community are going to work together. That is a lie. That is a lie. The U.S. government is going to work with the black community to bring about equality. That is a lie. White people don't share power with blacks. Nobody shares power with another race, and especially not with people who they think they're better than. Get out of this. We can all get along. Let me clarify. We can get along, but only if black people are willing to accept a second-class citizenship, which you already have. In fact, you're not even a second-class citizen. You're a third class. The immigrants are second. The brown and yellow people are second. Black people, you are a third-class citizen, which is 21st century slave, if I would use the words of one of the greatest Pan-Africanists of all time, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X. There is no sharing of power. Cut it out. Can't we work together? Go ahead, fool. Go work with them. Show me one thing we've ever collaborated on with the government or the white power structure or the white community that actually ended up being equal when it came to power sharing. There is no power sharing. White supremacy is a religion. Equality is a sin in their religion. Equality is a sin under the religion of white supremacy. This is why in many countries there's a separation of church and state, because they don't need religious leadership blinding the political leadership to the realities that they face. There was an African pastor some time ago who climbed into a lion's den with lions and started preaching in the lion's den, and he ended up being attacked and murdered by the lions. Because, Jonah went into the lion's den. Somebody went into the lion's den. David, Daniel, somebody went into the lion's den in the Bible. And so he thought he could do the same thing. Wake up and smell your coffee. Nothing's wrong with either book. Nothing's wrong with your religion. But when you let your religious beliefs blind you to your political realities, then your religion becomes the enemy of African progress. No race shares power with another race. They are in competition. The Chinese ain't trying to share with the Anglo-Saxons. They want to dominate the planet. East Indians ain't trying to share with the Chinese. They want to dominate the planet. Nobody wants to share but us. Rule number 3. White supremacy is ruthless. Ruthless, brothers and sisters. It is ruthless. We will poison your water. We will create disease. We will stillborn your babies. We will harm your elders. We will kill, cut, maim, poison your soil, use food as a weapon. There is no moral code in this universe that dictates the behavioral parameters of races. Let me say this again. There is no moral code. I'm not saying that individual white people don't have a personal code they live by. I'm not saying that. But when it comes to the system of racism, meaning the body politic of white America or the Caucasian race, nothing comes in their way of achieving their goal. To take the words of one of their greatest political theorists, Machiavelli, to take the words of one of their greatest political theorists, Machiavelli, to take the words of their greatest political theorist, Machiavelli, the ends always justify the means. The ends always justify. Africa does not get taken without Machiavellian principles. America doesn't get taken. The Caribbean doesn't get taken. South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, they don't take this planet without using every possible scheme, scam, manipulative technique, and outright military, what's the word I'm looking for? Brutality. No stone has ever been left unturned by white supremacy to dominate the resources of this planet and kill the original man and woman of this planet, which is the African man and woman of this planet. When I say I'm African, I'm also telling you I am the original man of this planet. Ruthless. And another big problem we have as African people, we still don't understand how ruthless white racism is. We don't get it. We don't get it.